Hey guys, it's me, Medium Beetle, and I am back once again to advocate for death, just like I did in my last video. But, unlike my last video, the people whose deaths I'm advocating for do not wear tank tops. So hopefully you guys have an easier time understanding where I'm coming from, and I receive a little less backlash this time around. Today, I'm going to be talking about the absolute blunder that is the retconning of Chapter 103, Viewer-Prohibited Battle. The original chapter was a banger, and it legitimately blew my mind the first time I read it. To understand why it was so badass, let me give you just a little bit of backstory. For those of you unfamiliar with who the Narinki Squad is and what their deal is, here's the rundown. So you know that annoying kid that got captured by the Monster Association? Well, his dad hired a group of mercenaries, the Narinki Squad, to go save him. And of course, they fail, because who would have thought that the bodysuits used by the Paradisers wouldn't be enough to fight through the entire Monster Association headquarters? Wow. Oh my god. Anyways, they get captured and beg for their lives like a bunch of little babies, and then get turned into slaves by the sexy femdom monster. Later on, a My Mask runs into the mercenaries and the monster lady while they're fighting Atomic Samurai's disciples, and he murders the fuck out of them! Fuck yeah! Not only was this both brutal and awesome, but it expanded our understanding of Sweet Mask's philosophy. How he perceives heroism, shows what he's willing to do to eliminate a monster, and also what he identifies as a monster, all without needing any dialogue. And he kills them in the same decisive and ice-cold fashion as those tied-up Boros goons, two groups who were just following orders. It's a nice little allegory for mercenaries. He seems to believe that since they succumbed to the whip, that they were no better than the monster who controlled them. This moral gray zone is what made his actions so intriguing, and it made me feel conflicted between thinking, yes, they are humans and there may have been another way, and this Dom lady is dangerous as fuck. And I can kinda see why he'd do what he's gotta do to eliminate the threat as quickly as possible. And it was super unexpected. I genuinely did not expect him to kill those people. I thought they'd have him do some passive Aikido bullshit to subdue the people and then kill the monster. I genuinely did not see it coming, and I fucking loved it. It was the perfect way to subvert expectations and show that those who are considered to be a hero by the association can be more complex than simply being good guys, which is something that the manga has been alluding to for quite some time now. My Mask is sort of the inverse of Garu, where Garu claims to be a monster but often finds himself acting like a hero. My Mask is a hero at face value, but a monster at his core. And this chapter emphasized that concept in the best way possible. I want to see him do more questionably evil things under the guise of heroism, and killing this shitty squad was the perfect way to accomplish that. And if you're thinking something like, well, Murata probably changed it because he didn't want a hero to kill actual people, blah blah blah, I want to remind you that this would not be the first time that a prominent hero has killed a good guy. Darkshine kills this Hero Association executive, who was possessed by a monster. It's easy to overlook since Darkshine's actions are played off for laughs, and I don't really mind that it was. I like the contrast of emotional perspectives in this scene, between the executive's looks of horror and Darkshine being oblivious to the intensity of the situation. Then having Darkshine attempt to use his muscles to calm everyone else down is a wholesome bit of dark humor. Scenes like this are the reason I love One Punch Man. And to be fair, the dude looked like a monster at the time he was killed. So Darkshine didn't really know that he was inadvertently killing a good guy. But regardless, he did. Darkshine killed a good guy. But you know who else was possessed and dangerous? The mercenaries. So My Mask's actions, just like Darkshine's, are closer to being a response to danger rather than being evil. You might also be thinking, maybe Murata had a reason for keeping them alive. Maybe they have a significant impact on the arc later on. Well, they don't. What does Murata end up doing with the mercenaries he decided to spare? They get brought back for this goofy scene in the next chapter, where they team up with Atomic Samurai's disciples. where they fight some expendable monsters and have some unimportant fluff dialogue. Then reintroduce evil natural water. It's at this point, while fighting evil natural water, that the head of the mercenary group saves Bushi Drill. Not because the swordsman would actually need saving if he weren't there, but to have a mercenary member do something that provides the illusion of justifying their existence. Do you really believe that Atomic Samurai's disciples need help from some guy who shoots a little pistol while wearing a supersuit? And while Murata frames it like this guy did something noble, he already had a huge hole in his chest, so he was done for. A walking corpse. It's not like he died because he chose to save Bushi. So no, Murata, he's not noble. This isn't character development. This guy does not matter. So then he gives his emotional little monologue on the mercenary life, blah blah blah, and I don't give two fucks the whole time. I cannot stress enough how little I care about this guy's backstory. If I want to read a good mercenary story, I'll read Berserk. Thank you very much. This guy blows, and I thank God every single day that he gets eaten by fish here, because I legitimately would not know how to feel if he got saved one more time. I would have seriously lost my mind. So all in all, Murata once again replaces moral conflict and consequence with silly bullshit and a synthetic half-assed attempt to make me feel emotion, but it all falls flat. Because the person he's using for this task is a doofus. This guy acts all hard in this chapter, but was introduced as a little crybaby who was trying to trade the life of the hostage he was supposed to be saving for his own. If you need any more proof of how much of a little baby this guy is, let's compare his situation to Tario's, considering that both of them were confronted and sliced in the face by Royal Ripper. Big tough mercenary leader guy goes, "Stop it, it hurts." Tario, who is arguably in a worse situation since he was completely alone and wasn't wearing a supersuit, is able to ask Royal Ripper flat out why he's doing this, and then tells him to stop. He doesn't beg, he doesn't say please, he simply says stop. How is this pussy the leader of anything when he has less commanding of a presence than a child? That's the thing. I feel absolutely no empathy for this guy. He's an ass, and he sucks a nut, and I'm glad he's dead. Later on in the arc, the rest of the mercenaries come back for another pathetic little cameo. And we are gifted with another example of Murata pandering to these bozos for no discernible reason. Quite some time ago, Yaion lost his arm fighting Melzagard and did not get it back. Apparently they had the tech to do it, and it was a clean cut. But no, his arm is gone forever. At the time, I liked that they kept his injury as an irrevocable consequence of combat, because having an admirable hero face unfortunate losses establishes stakes, and boldly illustrates the courage possessed by our heroes. Now on the flip side, you have this guy that no one gives two shits about, fucking mercenary punk, who kicks Pig God in the face after he saves him. You have him get his arm ripped off, just to have Pig God make it clear that he'll get it back. Why? Before it was made clear that he'd be fine, I was really happy when I saw this scene. Absolutely elated. It was refreshing to see some real brutality, and I was also happy for Führer Ugly, who seemed to be having the time of his life. Just look at how happy he is here. Simply adorable. It really warms my heart. But let's say for a second that I hypothetically didn't want to see this doucher, who kicks pigs, brutalized. Having him permanently lose his arm still would have been a good thing. Because any emotions that may have been evoked when his arm is ripped off are omitted once you establish that the damage done will be fully repaired. So what is even the point? So in conclusion, unlike Tank Top Master, who I can understand people advocating for, the Narinki Squad are not main characters, they are not heroes, they are not likable, and they do not matter. The only value they ever had was as fodder for a My Mask's character development. This manga was not written for toddlers. It does not require a PG rating, so I really do not understand why this chapter needed to be changed. Retconning this chapter was one of the biggest mistakes in the entire manga, and hopefully Murata realizes this and decides to slaughter them in an even more gruesome fashion later on, but I doubt it. Thanks for listening, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you agree. Regardless of if you do or not, let me know what you think in the comments section below. I'm always interested. Feel free to express yourself in whatever way feels right to you. Even if you just want to insult me and call me a smelly butt, then you hate me, and whatever, all comments are welcome. If you're interested in checking out the original chapter, or any of the other chapters that were retconned, I left a link in the description. It took me a surprising amount of time to locate them, kinda like they didn't want me to find them. So hopefully this makes it a tad easier for anyone else trying to do the same. And like I said in my last video, I still have a few more gripes I need to address, and I am currently in the process of getting those together as well. So if you like this video, I highly recommend subscribing. Anyways, I'm Medium Beetle.
Oh, and you guys, you are the real heroes.